Hey, I'm Blizzard Planet. Imagine this. You're ready to think critically, creatively, and become full of relentless optimism and have fun while you do it. So you visit Planit Butter, a world made of sparkly peanut butter, and the queen, Blissi, the disco ball of self-reflection, is whirling around in her transforming convertible. This is from my planet to yours. The I stands for intuition. Intucentricism, Planit Butter's philosophy. Stick with me, where we reflect on society and practice leading with our intuition, prioritizing self-control and self-expression as we hold space for the feelings, desires, and experiences of others. Thanks for joining me in my 60-second episode. We're going to get started with a little self-friendship article snippet from the Planit Butter publication. Your intuitively imaginative inspiration. Intuitively, I felt inspired to write this article, and I'm going to let my imagination run wild with it. It seems fun to play with the difference between imagination and intuition. Our imagination is a tool to be leveraged in our journey of developing and expressing our healthy ego, being intucentric. It's a teammate of our self-friendship practice actualizer, delusion, and our stabilizer, fun, as we perpetually lead with our intuition through the PB jet ring of consciousness, our cycle for decision making. The cycle is intuition, sensations, action, sensations again. We're consistently dancing with our imagination, increasing our life exposure thanks to our intuition. This ultimately enhances our self-friendship practice, the commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves. Read or listen to the full audio article on planetbutter.substack.com/subscribe. planetbutter.substack.com/subscribe. All right, guys. Hi. So, I just love recording the podcast. So, I got this clip. My friend Tia at my gym, she works there. She gave this to me because she had one. It was so pretty. And then she was like, I'll get you one. And she loves to give them to her friends as gifts. And it's just so freaking cute. So I was all excited. I was going to wear it, but then you guys couldn't see it. So now I just put it in front of me. And now I'm telling you about it. Cool. So here's another note. A lot of people will tell you that it's easier to stay the same than it is to change, right? People are like, oh, it's easier to just stay as you are and not change. But actually, guys, and they say change is hard. That's like a thing that I see people talk about. But change is actually effortless. It's only not easy because we resist it. So not changing is resistance, which is hard. Changing, easy. So if we tell ourselves change is actually easy and I'm resisting it, which is why it's hard, then we can maybe sooner release that and change more fluidly. Is that a word? It is now. I think fluidly. That's got to be a word. Okay. And then a note on looking around, guys. I was thinking about this because I'm at the gym and I'm always in my zone. And when I'm in front of the mirror, even like if I'm stretching and stuff, it's me and me, right? And also I can't, but I have to smile every time I look at myself. I'm like, oh, you're so cute. Hi. And I'm in my zone, right? And I was thinking, if and when you look around, it's a form of exertion, right? So being mindful that wandering eyes is a form of exerting energy, that's further removing us from attracting our making our energy an attractive one, because we're not attracting if we're exerting, you see? So it's just a balance. And I thought it was something cool to be mindful of as far as eye contact, wandering eyes, things like that. Oh, this is a fun one. Okay. Do you see this, uni? So I talk to the universe regularly Talk to me for any amount of time, you'll notice. So one thing that I'll do is when something's happening that, like, and honestly, anything, I just like to say, like, do you see this, Uni, or do you hear this, Uni? Because it reminds me to be objective. So it removes myself from the situation instantly, emotionally, like it removes myself, meaning detaches. I detach from the situation by referencing the universe. Like there's something so much larger. So it's like, do you see this? Boom. And then I'm looking at it rather than being too in it for any reason. So I thought that was a helpful note. Let me know what you think. I was just looking at myself. Hi. See, I cannot help but smile when I look at myself. Now a note on coincidences. First of all, kind of a hilarious word, coincidences. Coincidences. So some people, there are two types of people. Some people believe in coincidences. Other people don't believe in coincidences. However, saying something is a coincidence makes as little sense as saying something isn't a coincidence. So if we can just take a step objective and realize that the universe, everything within it, is inherently interconnected, then we can appreciate that everything isn't a coincidence and it doesn't make sense. Maybe. Because if either way doesn't make sense, then why wouldn't you want it to be intentional? Of course, because intention is cool. So to say, oh, coincidence, like it's not intentional, it happens, accidents, like there are no accidents, there are no coincidences. Everything is interconnected and we don't know why. And we don't need to know why. Something feels really crazy energetically for me right now. I can't explain what it is, but something's going like in the trees. I wish you could see them. It's so pretty. I always want to face that way because the background's way better than this, but the lighting is terrible that way. So I can. And I don't want to stare at a white wall when I'm talking. I want to stare at my pretty pool and my pretty plants and the pretty sky. And this orchid. Hi, orchid. So, yeah, but the energy's like, something's going on. There's a shift. And so... Oh, this was cool. The ideal is to equate our meditative state to our work state. So I feel like meditation is actually more of like a gateway to evolution in some regard. And I work really well in my meditative state. And I was just thinking that's such an ideal. And I think that would be an ideal for anybody. And so I wanted to share that because there's, with societal conditioning and negative connotations or any connotations with work being stressful or intense or whatever, it's like, actually, I'm literally working when I'm breathing in the sauna, I'm like doing breath play, right? Or when I'm writing and it's like fresh in the morning and I'm like, like that's a meditative state and I'm working. So just consider that for yourself. And even whatever, you don't need to be necessarily a creative to be in a meditative state, like a creative, well, everybody is creative in their own way, but I mean, if you're like doing math, that's creative. I think everything's creative. I don't know. But the traditional sense of creativity, writing, painting, what have you, doesn't need to necessarily be that to be in a meditative state and do your work. So just consider it. So similarly, kind of, I feel like people are so caught up in society that people assume you smoked Earth's plants just because you say something that's a little bit detached from society, but entirely attached to the rest of the universe. Again, that's the unhealthy ego at work, you guys. Assuming that people are high on Earth because they're not being the societally conditioned version person that you want them to be is hilarious. And it's an unhealthy ego. It's not conscious, it's detached, and it's neglectful of the fact that there is something so much larger than humanity. Let's go, guys. Universe. People, part of the universe. People are not the universe. We are part of the universe. Now, if you're expecting an upgrade, you will attract it. And most importantly, you will act in accordance with receiving it as well. Not knowing, but trusting that the uni's got it. Passing the baton, one of my phrases. It's like letting go, but better. You take responsibility to the fullest. Whatever is in your control, you're ready and willing to do more, do less, or pivot. And when you do that, you can release your reins to the universe because you did your part. And then the uni can do its part. Yay, universe! Yay, you! Yay, us. Go team. Here's a little nugget. I was on the phone with my friend the other day and I was like giving her a whole breakdown of that crazy Singerich story. It was crazy. And watch last week's episode if you want to hear it. It was really crazy. So, and I said nuggets and notes in reference to really just the signs of the uni, because signs are the language of the universe, and our ability to read the signs and be wary of our interpretation is key. So a lot of the time it's kind of just like nuggets and notes. We take in the information and we let it unfold for us and with us and use it as encouragement and alignment affirmation. And with that, I believe our default attitude about everything should, quote unquote, be, I'll figure it out. Because you will. And if you believe that and take responsibility, meaning, again, be willing to do more, do less, or pivot, and trust in the uni, believe it before you see it, then the magic will come. And here's another creative little nugget to just think about. It's like, oh, I'm building brick by brick. So the other week I said, brick by brick, and I'm crafting the bricks too. Just think about that. Put into work. Oh, this was a cool one. So locations, guys, locations can trigger former thought patterns. And you know what made me realize this? Is it happened to me. And then I self-reflected and I self-connected and I figured it out. And I bet there are scientific experiments on it. But this is all my own intuition and self-reflection and self-connection a la Planit Butter. Okay? I went to the beach. I went to a beach that I used to go to almost nightly for sunset. And I went back for the first time in a couple months. And suddenly I started having the same thoughts that I used to have there all the time. And I was like, why am I thinking about these things? And then 20 minutes later, when I was reflecting about these things, I stopped myself and was like, why am I don't want to think about these things. That's not where I'm at. We're forward. And I reflected and I was like, the only difference between me having these thoughts and where I'm at right now is that freaking beach. So I was like, oh my God, that beach triggered those thought patterns. Crazy. So be careful where you go. Just be mindful, truly. And that's why it's also so helpful to invite new thoughts and have little mantras for yourself. Like when I go in my ice bath and my sauna, I let my mind wander. I let my mind wander to a healthy degree. And I also have little mantras that I say to myself. And so my brain is always happy and excited when I'm in the ice bath, first of all, and I'm always smiling and breathing consciously. And the association is a positive one. So now, anytime, anywhere I am in the world, and I'm in an ice bath, I will have positive thought patterns with these little mantras. So obviously that, like, I have also positive thought patterns associated with that beach as well. And I also had a little bit of tricky ones that I did not really like going down. So I was like, just be mindful is the point for everybody. Where you go, where you sit, how you sit, habits, right? It's like if you sit in the same chair like I am right now, I sit in the same seat to record the podcast. It's like I know I'm recording this podcast in this seat. You know what I'm saying? And I have a certain chair that I only sit in when I'm doing early morning writing. And then I have a different chair for my late night writing because my mind is associating each one with morning thinking, night thinking, this, even though it's both writing, it's a different mindset because of the physical association with it and the light and the environment, all of it. That's also why people say not to nap in your bed during the day, or if you're going to nap, do it somewhere else. I don't know. But it's just the association with it. Also, like, don't go on your phone in your bed. At least I don't think that's a good idea. I'll stop the ramble. All right. I ended up, okay, so the other day I went to this cafe and I ended up sharing this table with these people. And I was literally thinking to myself, I'm like, I love sharing these tables because I just meet so many fun people. And then right after I thought that, we started chatting. And I was like, fun. And then they did a TikTok live. So we went on the live and I went all Planit Butter on their live. Obviously, he invited it because he was asking me. He totally set me up with a perfect question. I was like, thank you. You didn't even know, but thank you. And we ended up in this chat about discipline and fun. Discipline and fun can coexist. And I think discipline has this like serious connotation. It's like, that's where my word silliest comes in. Playful with sincere intent. We can have fun and be serious. I'm so freaking serious about Planit Butter and my business and my beliefs about what I'm sharing with the world. And I do so in a playful way, and I have fun while I do it. Hello. That's literally the whole point. I want everybody to have fun with their life. So that's it. Discipline and fun. Well, because also the girl who was saying she wants to be more disciplined, she was saying she felt like, oh, it's too easy to get distracted. It's this, it's that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, if you find something that is equal parts fun and disciplinary, then it won't be so easy to get distracted. Obviously, easier said than done, but it's possible. And then we also talked about loyalty. And I said, and they were like, how do you have loyalty? And I said, self-respect. It's a result of self-respect. When you have self-respect, you are able to provide, in a sense, loyalty for yourself and for others in your dynamics. And you can then attract it and receive it because you show up that way for yourself. Also, a note on the ice bath. Fear-based tactics. This guy said to me, he imagines that his mom or grandma needs serious help as his way of, like, if you don't stay in this ice bath for 3 minutes, your grandma's gonna die. And he's like, yeah, like fight or flight tactics. And I was like, that's so not, no, don't do that. You're just perpetuating your fight or flight mindset. Like, yeah, you're doing the ice bath, which is supposed to be, it releases happy chemicals for you, but your body's releasing happy chemicals while you're telling yourself your grandma's gonna die. Like, no. We can be having fun. That's why I smile and I say really cool mantras in my head while I'm breathing in the ice bath, because it's a good time, not a bad time. It's not scary. I don't need to pretend anybody's dying. God, people. Society has convinced us that that's like a helpful tool. It's not a helpful tool. I mean, it's a helpful tool when it's actually present, something to be scared of. Then, yeah, run or fight. Sure, maybe. But even then, if we just had a giggle, I bet the situation would turn out better. And then 4 people in the span of 1 week that I had really great conversations with all independently said to me that they wish they had more conversations like that and that they wouldn't talk to as many people with so many opinions. And I'm like, why are 4 different people saying this to me? That means, because that's 4 people. I met 4 people who aren't talking about just opinions. So that must mean there's a lot of people. Like, why do they think that that's not there? And then I'm experiencing an abundance of it. And they're telling me about it. So I just feel like maybe if they didn't, and I told them this, a few of them, I was like, well, if you didn't think that was common, it probably wouldn't show up as much. And if you just didn't indulge in the opinionated conversations at all, then you wouldn't find them as much. Like, if I find myself in a conversation with somebody that's opinion oriented, I dismiss myself. A perspective dance. What if your routine was just listening to your body? Consider the PBJ ring of consciousness. Intuition, sensations, action, sensations again. Our action is what we do with our body. So if we match the PBJ ring cycle for decision making with our 3 core methods to activate our self-friendship, then we can more quickly identify the activities and habits, our routine, that we incorporate into our days in whatever order of events we want and need by listening to our body. That could be the routine. That is the routine. That's the philosophy. It's a routine. It's a philosophy. Self-friendship, 3 core methods, Planit Butter Jet Ring of Consciousness. Learn it, know it, love it. I'll break it down for you in Far Out Fundamentals, the chapter book, coming soon. Another perspective dance. Instead of getting what you get and don't get upset, get what you attract and decide if you want it. We always have a choice. And then it becomes, are you willing to upgrade? And lastly, I heard somebody say the other day, gravity is like glue. And I thought that was cool. That's it. Just a little silly one. Think about it. There's a lot to do with that. I don't know what yet, but let's play with it. Email me any questions you have. I'll answer on the show. myplanettoyours@gmail.com. Thanks for visiting Planit Butter, my world made of sparkly peanut butter, where I hopefully inspire you to think critically, creatively, and optimistically approach life, believing in the magic, developing and expressing our healthy ego through the practice of self-friendship, which is the commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves. And it's integrated with the PB Ring of Consciousness, our cycle for decision making. Intuition, sensations, action, sensations again. Cycle repeats. Keep listening. We will get there together. It's not easy, but we can choose to make it fun. From my planet to yours, Blizzard. And bonus from my planet to yours episodes featuring yours. Email me anything you're navigating in your world or wondering about. Each selected submission will be its own episode where I offer my perspective dancing and opinions through the lens of self-friendship. This is, of course, not a substitute for professional support. Bonus episodes are now available once per month, exclusively for founding members on Planit Butter's publication hosted on Substack, planetbutter.substack.com/subscribe, planetbutter.substack.com/subscribe. The link's also in the show notes or the link in my Instagram bio @Planit Butter. And the coffee table book with a lesson, Party of One, Self-Friendship in Action, is available internationally on planetbutter.com and international online retailers. Please subscribe and review the show wherever you're watching or listening. I love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for landing on Planit Butter. From my planet to yours, Blizzard still.